Díobh gach aontaithe, Caoimhín anseo, compordach in kitchen. Hi everyone, Caoimhín here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, I am going to go through a little bit of vocabulary or folklore. Folklore is also the word for dictionary, but you can also use it for vocabulary in Irish to do with the sky. So just a few words. Ag buintile an spare. So unspare for the sky, ungrian for the sun. Sunlight is solas na gréine. There are times when you can say solas ungreen, but that's not usually how you say it. Solas na gréine is sort of the light of the sun. Ungreen, unspare. Spare gorum, a blue sky that we're looking at here. Agor on show bemidig vacant on iha. We're going to be looking at nighttime on iha. Of course, that's normally when we're looking for stars. As the sun goes down, the stars will come out. Tá na réaltaí chun seacht amach. Ach ar dús tuggin na planéid. So the stars, na réaltaí, they're going to come out, but first come the planets, na planéid. So unplanéid, a planet, na planéid, planets. A lot of people, including myself, I say planéidi a lot of the time instead of saying planéid. It's technically a little bit wrong. It's kind of like saying gooses instead of geese, but it's a mistake that I certainly make. Venus, Jupiter, Mars. Mars is Mars. Jupiter, August, Venus, Jupiter and Venus, they're not too different, thankfully. Shin Raelt an Madra, that's the dog star. Raelt an Madra, the star of the dog, really. But that is the brightest star in the sky. The planets, of course, come out first. Tuggin the planedia mach dús. Shin on Mercare, that's Mercury. Anna Dakar Leheshkint, very difficult to see. Tá an Greenig Dulnali, the sun is setting. August tá an spare ag oilt níos dorcha, the sky is getting darker. So here we've got a few of the constellations. Tá cúpla den a réaltmhaoin again. Is sé seo Umbadach. This is Umbadach. If you watch my channel a lot, then you've heard me mention Umbadach maybe in other Irish language videos. In English, this is Orion, on Theodore, the hunter. Orion is a perfectly acceptable name for this constellation. Umbadach is just there are records that people in Ireland called this Umbadach rather than calling it Orion. So it is possibly a more indigenous term for the constellation. Is a indigenous dúchasach. Dúchasach is another word for indigenous or native if you're talking about plants. Tá cúpla réaldaoin anna cáiliúil hús an seo. There's a couple of very famous constellations up here. Seo é an lón, this is the lion. Nu an Cú, or the wolf. Again, there are some records of people in Ireland calling this Cú or wolf rather than lion as well. An Cúpla, the twins, Gemini, Hús an seo. Agus an Taurav, and the bull, Taurus. Taurus, Taurav, the name of the constellation does sound a little bit like the Irish word. That happens occasionally. Pisces, Agus Iasc, Pisces and fish. They may not immediately sound similar, but they are related. Mátéimid níos déanach san ihe, if we go later in the night. Tuggin an ghealach suas, up comes the moon comes up. Seo í an ghealach, this is the moon. An ghealach lán, Tommy Teresh an ghealach lán. So not the full moon. An ghealach lán, the full moon. This isn't the full moon, we're just a little bit past full. There's the full moon that we had just a few nights ago. Ungulach, the moon, lán, la, Quran, full, half, crescent, whatever you want. The moon, of course, is ungulach. It's not too hard to describe. If a planet has more than one gulach, tá gali again nua ki. If a planet has more than one moon, then it has moons. Usually in English, there's not too many choices. If you're talking about more than one thing, usually you whack an S at the end. In Irish, sometimes it can be a bit more complicated. Seo í an Aru. This is the eclipse. Aru an ghealach, nu Aru Gali. This is the eclipse. Partial is all we get to see here in Ireland. It is a total lunar eclipse. But this is the lunar eclipse. Aru an ghealach. Aru na Gali. That is the lunar eclipse. An eclipse, Oru, happens to the moon when it goes into our shadow, and to the sun when the moon blocks it out. There is a solar eclipse, Oru Graina, Oru Ungreen, a solar eclipse, an eclipse of the sun, however you'd like to say it. They sound a little bit different in English, a solar eclipse, an eclipse of the sun. Of course, they sound a little bit different in Irish as well, Oru Nugraina, Oru Ungreen. There we go. It's a partial eclipse, Pártach. Unfortunately, it's not a total eclipse, Oru Umlán. Tommy Harnashkadi Unlay, we're back to daytime. There are a few other words that I wanted to point out, but we'll need to go into the countryside, amach faoin tua, out into the countryside. We are going to remove the light pollution. Light pollution, trúlú solas. Tomid kun on trúlú solas of wind. Seo é spare daracha. This is a dark sky. So this is a dark sky with the light pollution removed. So trúlú solas, light pollution. Spare daracha, a dark sky. Spare a daracha, dark skies. Because there are plenty of them around the place, and they are kind of broken up. Originally, we just had one big dark sky covering the entire planet. Now, things are a little bit broken up. In a dark sky, you can often see the glow of the Milky Way. Bóithre na bófinna, the glow of the Milky Way. Bóithre na bófinna, the Milky Way. The glow of the Milky Way, solas bóithre na bófinna. The light of the Milky Way, I suppose, rather than the glow. But it is our galaxy, our Réaltra. The Réaltra, the galaxies, include the Andromeda Galaxy, Réaltra Andromeda, that's the Andromeda Galaxy. There are plenty of galaxies whose names are words, so we can absolutely translate the words as well. Réaltra an Corán, the Whirlpool Galaxy, of course. There are plenty of numbers as well. M Quagahan, Messier Quagahan, M51, Messier 51. Is Anam A Messier, Nílam Kun on Anam Frankish Shin Aharu Gidi Gaelga. Messier is a name, so I'm not going to change the French name into Irish. I'll leave it at Messier. But Iver Messier, Messier number. Messier numbers are one way of classifying various objects in the sky. Casula Canusuk Realty, like clusters of stars. This is a cluster of stars. Is Canusuk Realta Aisha, Canusuk Realta Osculta, an open cluster of stars. Nashokt Triforica, the seven sisters, the Pleiades, na Pleiades. Is Anam Greguk A in the Pleiades, Nilam Konea Haru. It's a Greek name, the Pleiades. I'm not going to change it. Freshin Le Subaru is Adam Chaponuk. Eishin, Nilam Konea Aharu. Same with Subaru, it's a Japanese name, I won't change that. Seven Sisters, Shaktra Forica, Thomas Hall Station, Aharu. I'm happy to change that one. Messier 45, M45. Messier Dah the Kuig. Shinun Iver, that's the number that it's given. Shin Canusuk Realty, Tá Réaltra Amakon Shin, Tá Alon sort in a raid Amakon Shaw. That is a star cluster, there's galaxies, there's lots of objects out here, raid object. An observatory, a place where you look at objects, raidlin. It's a common thing in Irish. Lun is put at the end of something. So Lowerlin is a library. It's a place where you have books. Raidlin is an observatory, a place where you look for objects. Owerclin is a theatre, a place where you go to look at plays. They're usually a place. This is a nebula, Réaltnail. A Réaltnail is a nebula, it is a cloud in space. And all of these words have an Irish translation. Of course they do. Any language can be used to express any concept, but it's not simply a matter of borrowing. Some of the terms used in astronomy, Réaltóliacht, they are borrowings. Terms are borrowed from English. For example, X-ray, X-gaw. A ray is gaw, there's an Irish word for ray, but an X-ray, we didn't come up with another word for it, we just whacked an X on ray as well, X-gaw. Radio for radio as well. But there are plenty of scientific terms, Réaltra, Réaltnail, that are completely Irish. They're completely Irish words, they're completely Irish coinages. And of course, the basics, réalt, réaltaine, planéad, planéid, all of these things, they are nice, easy Irish words that you can throw out if you are stargazing. So this may help if you watch some of my completely Irish videos. You may be able to follow along without looking at the subtitles all of the time. Maybe this will help you pick up on a couple of the words at least. Of course, the subtitles are still useful if you don't speak Irish. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like it. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like this kind of content, and you can read some of this information on my website, cuivinscontent.ie. So thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you back here next time.